We've got an SEO tool series here on The Edge, and the first one that I wanted to show you is a great Google Search Console wrapper that is lightning fast. Let's demo SEO Gets today on The Edge.
Go! Your weekly digital marketing trends with industry trend-setting guests. Powered by your digital marketing pioneers, SEOGets. This week's featured guest is Mathew Mellinger, co-founder of SEO Gets. Now, here's your host, Aaron Sparks.
Welcome back to The Edge. This is Edge of the Web Radio, episode 729. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks. Join us each week for some insightful conversations with industry leaders from around the globe, diving deep into the latest digital marketing tactics. So this show is designed for you, the digital marketing pro. So whether you're in an agency, an in-house department, or flying solo as a freelancer, get ready to expand your knowledge and stay on the edge. Make sure that you check out all the shows that we have over the last 13 years over at edgeofthewebradio.com. Hey, we're proud to have SiteStrategics as the title sponsor of this episode of the Edge of the Web interview series. We're celebrating our 20th year of digital marketing here at the shop. Our mission is bringing your company or your clients into focus by entity SEO, content strategies, curated content through subject matter expert interviews, creating helpful content for you or your clients. So go check us out over at sitestrategics.com. Just want to let you know who's going to be coming up on the show in the next few episodes. We're talking to Jonathan Gillum of Originality.ai. We're also going to have a greatest hits of 2025, along with Ryan Jones of SEO Testing. Check out our recent interview podcast as well with Brittany Muller and the team from Third Door Media about the acquisition of Search Engine Land by SEMrush. Very good show there. Hey, we're always on the hunt for the next guest on the edge. If you're interested in being part of the show, just let us know by dropping a line over at info@edgeofthewebradio.com. Also, make sure that you check out our weekly news podcast covering the most recent digital marketing news and Google updates. We're dropping it every Tuesday to help you navigate your week in digital marketing. Here are some headlines we covered with Ori Zilberstein. He jumped in and helped us with the news this week. Google Ads now have a WhatsApp conversion point. There's also a study about search click-through rates and how industries are shifting. Google Search Console also has some recommendations for your site. There's also news from Google about misleading buttons. They're a no-no. On top of that, OpenAI hires an ex-Chrome engineer. Are they building a new browser? Make sure that you catch up with all of our news on episode 728. Check it out. We also brought the News from the Edge newsletter back. We're bringing the news from the show, our take on the news, in case you wanted to get all the podcast links in your inbox. Along with that, we prepped so much for this show. A lot of that doesn't make it into the show, and we also wanted to share those links to those news items as well. So you get some additional information in that email. Go over to edgeofthewebradio.com to sign up today. Make sure that you check out our sponsors as well on this episode, SiteStrategics and Wix Studio. They're here to make your digital marketing work week better. Be sure you check them out from the show links. That's how they know that you found them on the edge. Lastly, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think about our recent shows by going over to ratethispodcast.com/edge today. This helps us get in front of new listeners. Hey, you were one at one point in time. If you liked a particular guest, let us know. With all our show housekeeping taken care of, let's meet this week's industry expert guest. All right, folks, we've got a special tactical episode here. I've been working with this tool for months. I picked it up earlier this year, and it actually has been a daily go-to for an application to be able to review Google Search Console data. Let's face it, we all want something better to be able to understand SEO performance, and we really can't rely on Google to do it. They're not incentivized to give us the tools that we need. Now we actually have one. So I want to introduce you to Mathew Mellinger. He's the owner of Local SEO Partners. He's based out of Tennessee, and he's also the co-founder of SEO Gets, and he's helping build the best Google Search Console alternative. I want to get him on because the tool that he has co-founded is a fantastic application. So, Matt, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, sir? Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Matt, can you give us a little bit of your history? I gave you a small bio here, but give us a little bit of a understanding of where you've come through in SEO and how you found yourself in a co-founding role for a software company.
Yeah, so started Local SEO Partners probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's a small boutique local SEO agency, and we've been doing that. And at the beginning of the year, I was looking for a tool similar to this. Again, there's a lot of people talking about using Search Console data to improve your SEO. And so was looking to basically discover a tool that would make it better. Because again, if you manage a number of sites, Search Console just isn't intuitive and built with agencies or multiple users in mind. So went
Absolutely.
searching and kind of stumbled across SEO Gets in beta. The developer Guy hadn't really started to monetize it yet, and it was still very much in just kind of his beginning stages. And he's a indie hacker that is from Brazil living in Ireland. And so I reached out to him and was basically like, hey, I was planning on building a tool like this. I kind of want to purchase it. Would you be interested in selling it? And he wasn't really open to the idea. He mentioned having an affiliate program. I was like, I want a little bit more say. I want to be able to help influence the decisions on how the app develops and the growth strategies. And so it's like, would you be interested in a partnership instead? And he was intrigued. So we did a month trial. I was basically able to pass it on to a lot of the network and the connections that I had in the SEO industry, and quickly kind of took off, and we realized that it would be a good fit. So I kind of jumped on as one of the co-founders. So it's just two of us. We're a bootstrapped company that started at the beginning of the year. And you said it in a chat earlier, but we're a scrappy team that's building quickly. And one of the things that is a big focus is listening to SEOs, whether you're an in-house, an agency, or a consultant. Like, they kind of are a little bit different pain points, but it all kind of comes down to managing a portfolio of websites and the issues that come trying to use Search Console and the limitations that it has. So yeah, it came in. I'm in charge of growth and product development. So doing stuff like this, getting to talk about it, and then working and talking with users about how they want to improve. Again, I'm kind of in the shoes. So it's funny. I don't know how many times I've hopped on a call and basically someone's like, man, I would love for it to do this. And then the next day I'm like, oh yeah, we were actually already working on that. It's just been published. So because I'm running an agency, I have a lot of the same pain points. I'm a user. I use it daily. I'm actually in the charts the most active because I have to demo it a lot, but I am the number one user in the app. So I definitely spend my time in there and learning the tweaks and the UI and the frustrations. And then Guy is a very talented developer. I think that was something I didn't really fully understand at the beginning of the partnership. And then over the past year, I've realized that he can produce tools and features very efficiently and effectively. And so it's been a great teamwork. So yeah, we run in the agency and then growing the SaaS company. And so he handles all the development, all the building. He has a couple SaaS companies. And so he's got the experience on that side. And then I just get to go around and talk about it and then ask for things, and he builds it. So it's a great team. It's kind of how we got to this
Well,
place.
we all want that relationship with the developer. Is that okay? I can't do this right here. Can you figure this thing out? And all of a sudden, it magically appears. That's aspiration that we all have. Here's what Cyrus Shepard said about your tool, because he actually posted something a little while ago. He said, link multiple GSE accounts, see all your data in a single dashboard, share reports and or accounts with your team members or clients, export unlimited data instantly, limited to 1,000 rows in the Search Console. Conversely, easily group topic clusters and content groups, and you can spot rising or falling keywords and URLs. And that's a great series of bullet points, but it really doesn't even touch the surface of what you guys are doing. You're actually digging in and you're giving us everything that we wanted inside of Google Search Console to be able to save. It's just bloody attribution, or I should say annotation, on timelines of efforts that we're doing, content groups, branded keywords, and be able to save that so we can filter that out. I mean, on top of everything else, I've just been witnessing the evolution of this, and I can't say that I've ever seen a piece of software develop this quickly. And like I said, it's not that I'm going in there not only to be able to see our stats on our own clients, but I'm also going in there to see what's new. It's almost like you're opening up a Christmas present each and every day. Something's new in the software, and it's every software has different bugs and what have you, but I have not seen any bugs coming through. It's like, oh my gosh, this just came through. This came through. So anyway, want to give you some accolades between yourself and Guy. You guys are focused on getting this tool really dialed in, and I don't think that now we talked about in our pre-show chat what Google's doing with Search Console, and obviously they've evolved the UX over time, and they just released some sticky filters so you can actually save it between different things. And that's about as close as they could possibly get right now to what you guys are doing. You're just blowing past them and actually giving us a very dialed in, customizable and configurable tool to be able to see Google Search Console. So this is what I want to actually share with our listeners here. Not only what this is, how you came to be here, but also what some of the development challenges are, and on top of that, demoing the tool as well. So that said, this is not a paid promo, folks. This is a start of a series of products that I wanted to share with you guys on the show. The big SEO SaaS companies that are out there sometimes don't have the innovation that more scrappy companies do. And I think anybody who's been hearing us for a while, I am a tool hoarder because there's no one tool that rules them all. There's a lot of idiosyncrasies of these tools. Some have better insight than others, right? But whenever it gets down to Google Search Console, no company has really focused on GSC to be able to extract and be able to give us tool sets that we can save and return and cluster concepts and topics around to be able to generate insight for our strategists here. So we're going to go through a demo here to make sure for listeners here, check out the YouTube version of this because we're actually going to be laying out screen capturing some of the things that Matt's going to show us today. But before anything else, can you walk through kind of the development timeline of SEO Gets from inception to its current state? This has been a year, folks. What has happened over the course of the months of 2024? Can you give us kind of a flyby of some of the innovations that you guys have done?
Yeah, so when Guy started, he definitely had a very strong base, a prototype. I would have said at the beginning, it was like, yeah, you have 80% of what I was imagining. And so Guy and I have been meeting, again, we live in very different time zones and we've never met in person, but we meet once a week. And then we kind of quickly build a communication channel. Like we have the normal team. So we have a Slack and an Asana. And then that's where we do most of our communication. We have one call a week. And basically, it's just been a list of here are all the things that we want and priority. And then he just goes and executes. I go and work on a lot of the marketing and automations. But you're not kidding when it's like almost every month we have 2 or 3 major feature updates, big releases, and we have been able to again, we're lean. We don't have a lot of it's Guy doing the development, and because of his talent, he doesn't waste a lot of time. So we come up with these ideas, and one of the things that is like we get a lot of user feedback. I think that's been one of our strengths is that I have a lot of my opinions, but the latest release, whether we want to call it a content decay, right now it's called the map overview. But basically, it's just kind of like a heat map showing which content is growing and decaying over time. And that was actually an idea completely given to us by one of our users. And so he kind of showed us, hey, I'm looking for this kind of a thing. Could you build it for us? We've gone and done that. So we've had a lot of requests. Unfortunately, part of the process is being able to weed out some of the outlier requests that would be nice, but like we have a lot of things that are repeated. So there's, hey, can I get this? Hey, can I get this? Hey, can I get this? So on the main master dashboard that we'll kind of quickly talk about here in a minute is the ability to tag, to sort and organize. And one of the things that we're currently working on that will probably be released in another week or so or less is the ability to curate or basically combine multiple websites into one graph. So there's a couple different use cases for that. Say I have 5 home remodeling websites that are all local SEO. I'm able to see the overall trend comparatively versus one site across all of them comparatively. So the other thing is like there's a lot of sites that have multi-language. And so they want to see how the entire site is performing across all their languages for all their different subdomains. So like that's another use case for us. So that's a feature, again, we've had people ask and ask and ask. And so we're going to go build it for them. We've had a lot of people really ask us for a GA4 wrapper similar. It's kind of on like it's an idea, but we've really committed to sticking to improving Google Search Console data. There's some issues with Search Console data that we're trying to help educate and improve so that you can still like data in itself is only there to tell a story. Like you need context to everything. And I think a lot of people get caught up in perfect numbers. Analytics is never about perfect numbers. It's about finding trends and patterns, locating opportunities, and improving it. The only number that you can track perfectly is revenue normally.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
That's the KPI that matters. Right. So impressions or rankings lead to impressions, impressions lead to clicks, clicks lead to leads, leads should lead to revenue. So that number is a consistent pattern and you just want to see it improving. So we're building a lot of tools to help identify. I think at first the main purpose was to serve people that had a ton of sites, but we've had a lot of in-house teams that have only one or two or maybe three sites. I've been really liking the content optimization tools and like the individual dashboard, like you said, a lot of the brand keyword tracking and the content groups and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really building a tool that Google should build, but is not incentivized to build because of they're not making money off of it. And so one of the funny things that I don't know if I've mentioned this, and it's kind of we haven't talked about it a lot, but we've
Hmm.
actually had one of the head of Google Search Console design, or basically who works on the product. He's like head of the product, come and try SEO Gets and was a trial user for a couple days, which was when we saw that we were like, wait, is
Whoa.
this no, 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 hold on. Don't come like, but
That's awesome.
again, it's very, I mean, it's Google. They're a huge mammoth. They can't like they're not going to be scrappy. Their big releases is going to be having a sticky filter
Right,
like
exactly.
like whoa, like no, like there's so many things that people have been asking, annotations, content groups, like even the simple thing of like we allow you to connect several search consoles together, but if you don't, you have to go change the account, find the website again, and then click the tab that you're trying to get to instead of just being able to switch. Like things like that just don't make any sense. Inviting
No, you're
users,
absolutely right.
teams, nightmare. So we're just trying to fill the gap where Google and Google's done a good job with their API. But again, like they with the API, you're allowed 50,000 rows. With Search Console, you're allowed 1,000 rows. Like they're
Period.
giving you
Yep.
50 times more data if you have a larger site with the API. So it's things like that that just we've been focusing on where the low hanging fruit, what are opportunities, what keeps coming up, and then every week we meet, determine what's important, and then we go and build. And when I say we, I go build the marketing. Yeah, it
Well, I
goes
mean,
back to the whole like, yeah, it's nice to have someone in the pocket. You're like, man, I'm dreaming of this. And he's like, got it.
unbelievable. We're jealous over here. We're jealous. I mean, just recently, you rolled out another feature which is fantastic. It's the storage of data beyond 16 months as well, and we've seen that as a huge limitation for Google Search Console. Obviously, that costs because you're dealing with BigQuery or something like that, which is going to be storing this data. But the ability to be able to see past that 16-month mark, right, is something that we've wanted forever and just had to deal with those limitations. So there's another mode that your software can actually move into for historical data. But before anything else, how does the user adoption curve look like for SEO Gets? What have you seen? If, you don't have to give us full on numbers, but how has this been accruing kind of a percentage of users month over month over month?
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing a consistent upward trend. I think the issue right now is two things. One, I just need to continue to get the word out. I don't know how many people still have never heard of SEO Gets. And you look at the big guys like Ahrefs or SEMrush or some of these Moz. I mean, all these guys, everyone in the industry knows them. And their user base is huge. Like I think
Hmm.
Google says that SEMrush has over 1 million free users and I think over 100,000 paid users. And so being a bootstrapped very profitable business, like we can focus on just a small slice of that pie. We're definitely trying to target a certain demographic, but we're really trying to keep it affordable. Like $30 for a tool that, I mean, we have several agencies that have probably over 30 people on the one plan. So they're paying
Yep.
less than $1 per month per user
Oh my gosh.
for this tool. Like it's just they found the way to like just opt like, but even for one person, $30 a month, we've definitely kept it on that low end because it is
Yeah, you have.
essentially just a wrapper. The growth has definitely come from affiliate and word of mouth mostly. And again, that's one of the things that Sam Altman, the ChatGPT guy,
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
basically talking about at a YC podcast that you need to create a viral product that people want to talk about. And that's what we're trying to do. That's the core
Absolutely.
of our product is that I don't know how many people have been like, man, because there's some other tools that are similar to what we do that are kind of specific, but they do it differently. And one of the biggest things that people notice is that the cost with us is cheaper, but then it's faster. Like our app is, I've heard people call it lightning fast multiple
Oh, it
times.
is.
Like it's just
Absolutely.
shockingly fast. And again, that goes back to kudos to Guy with how he's developed it, that it doesn't take hours. Like when you start a trial, you're ready to plug and play within 10 seconds. Like
Yeah.
you just get in, you're ready. Like there's no hours of waiting for this and this and that. It's just, and then it's boom, you just jump right in. So
And the
um
filtering, the rendering, especially for the reports section, and we were talking about this yesterday, is it's almost instantaneous, where you see a lot of chugging and plugging on some of the other SaaS platforms out there as it grinds through that data, right?
yeah, so it's been good. And then obviously things like this, Cyrus gave us a shout out and had a huge spike there. Like we just got a shout out from SEO FOMO with Aleda in her newsletter, and like we just got like a tiny little mention in the freemium tool at the bottom, and boom, there's a
Boom.
spike. And yeah, so that's really been, we've been trying to connect with a lot of thought leaders in the space, hop on podcasts, just talk, and that has been our main source of growth. We've started a little bit of cold email, which can be a taboo thing in some places. A lot, I mean, we're SEOs. A lot of us don't really care that much about that. It's, we don't like it. But the funny thing is that like I truly believe I'm trying to get a product into the hands of that people will appreciate. I'm not trying to spam anyone. And
Right.
so we've actually had a really good response rate with the cold emails. People have been like, wow, I've never heard of this. This looks really cool. They try it and they love it. And so I think I've done a little bit of cold email in the past, but
Mhm.
we have had so little, hey, don't email me. Cause again, we don't do the, hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. We just leave it there. If we get it connected, we do. If not, we move on. But the cold email has been working pretty well. And yeah,
Very
trying
good.
to do a little bit more on the case studies. Like we did the case study in the toxic backlinks, did a
Mhm.
case study on the anonymized queries. So when I kind of start producing more case studies and experiments, just have fun with it and use that as
Well,
a way to.
you're bringing something that's not terribly difficult to actually embrace, because you can sync to your GSC Google account instantaneously on the free account and be able to see what is actually happening with this wrapper. So it's a very easy point of entry, right?
Yep.
And it's immediately you can see exactly what this tool is all about, and it's a specialized tool. It's not everything under the sun like other platforms. It's a laser focused understanding of what Google Search Console is giving you, and it gives you the ability to interpret very, very quickly. We're proud to have Site Strategics as a sponsor of Edge of the Web. Here is a question: how do you create that authoritative subject matter expertise that we know Google's looking for? Learning from your client is always the place, but organizing a well thought through interview process is time consuming. Site Strategics has developed a subject matter expert interview process that's backed by our years of interview techniques, as well as SEO research and buyer's journey persona definition. You can bring us in as an SEO SWAT team, extracting some incredible knowledge, voice, and passion of the SMEs for your use. We can deliver a targeted series of questions and goals through the interview, work organically through some great conversations, and provide a set of deliverables that you can take to omni-channel deployment. Video content, audio content, transcripts, blog posts, structural content, social, all from the untapped knowledge of your subject matter experts. Find out more. If you're interested in what we can do for you, just give us a call at 877-SEO for Web or 877-736-4932, or simply just go to edgeofthewebradio.com/site. We'd love to share some great successes with you. Remember, it's not you, it's me. So let's jump into a demo if we can. Let's grab a hold, and again, for our listening audience, want to make sure that you go over to the YouTube channel so we can actually see what we've got going on here. So we're going to lay this out from the dashboard going in. I got a couple questions, a couple insights on some of the tools there, but at the same time, we're going to be mindful of describing this as we're going through. So first and foremost, we've got the dashboard. Give it to us, Matt. What are we seeing here?
Yeah, so when you sign in, you connect your Google Search Console account, you will land on what we call the Net Master Dashboard. And it's basically just a beautiful list of all of your sites in one view. So you'll be able to come in here, and right off the bat, this is like one of people's favorite things is they're like, I can see everything in a glance. You have the ability to do a lot of cool filtering, and you're able to toggle all of your impressions, your click-through rates, your timelines, all that stuff right here in this master dashboard. You're also able to see a lot of the growth of the sites comparatively. So like we allow you to do previous period or year over year. So I'm able to see that over the past 3 months, this site is down 75% and this site is up
Mm-hmm.
1400%. Easy to locate those things. One of the things that people miss when they come to this master dashboard is that there's 3 little icons underneath each site. And this allows you to mark sites as your favorite or to hide sites. Because I know a lot of us have tons of sites that are like either the site search or the HTTPS, or it's a duplicate or it's an old one. And you don't want to have this dashboard cluttered with all these sites. So you can come in here and you can click this little eyeball and start hiding these sites from your dashboard.
Oh,
And
so
then it can
cool.
stay in this little hidden folder. So it's the same thing with the favorites. You just click them on and off wherever you want to unhide them and hide them and to favorite them. The other thing that is really cool is this little tagging system. And so you can click the little tag underneath and you can
Yep.
manage tags. So again, this is helpful if you have rank and rent sites versus client sites, if you have personal sites versus client sites, if you have a certain niche that you want to track. And right now, when you add it to a site, you can add as multiple tags to one site. And then what you can do from there is see how we can add up to three tags on that site. Now what I can do is up here, we see these tags at the top of the screen. You can
Mm-hmm.
filter and quickly see all of the sites. The thing that we're building right now as we speak, and I'll say this again, Guy is building as we speak, is that when you are clicking this tag, these 3 sites are under this tag. There is going to be a new dashboard above that shows the cumulative data of all 3 of these sites combined. So it's like a portfolio dashboard of these 3 sites. So whatever you tag will be in that dashboard. The other cool thing on this master dashboard is if you've gone in and set the branded keywords for each of your sites, you can come in here and you can do a quick non-branded search filter on this master dashboard and see how all your sites are performing on the non-branded side. Again, one of the things to keep in mind is that this is a anonymized, queried, filtered version. And so you're not going to get the complete picture here, but
Mm-hmm.
you're again just looking for a consistent trend pattern. Is it green or is it red? Because if it's green, sure, it may only have 60% of the actual data, but it's
Right.
still 60% before and 60% now, and you're up. It's still relative to each other. You're looking for the pattern and the trend.
Gotcha. Now,
So
I mean, just to pause there, literally to be able to actually not only tag, but also you've got comparison data, 6 month against 6 month, or 3 month against 3 month. You can see all that, all the performance metrics right there. And on top of that, you can, as long as you customize your brands per account, right, or per client, you can then filter through all the branded terms, get that out of the way into non-branded terms, be able to see that level of performance at a glance. It is fantastic. Keep on going, man.
yeah. So one of the big things, again, you talked about, we do have the upgrade ability to your historical data up to 5 years. And so like one of the biggest use cases for that is a true year over year growth. So being able to look back 24 months and say, what is the last 12 months compared to the previous 12 months? Because again, seasonality matters. Q4 matters more so than the previous Q4 and vice versa. So that was one of the big benefits to that. The other thing is up here in this, the filter, when you choose your time selection, you can also smooth it by weeks and months. And so that gives you kind of
That's
a
cool.
smoother view to see the trend pattern as opposed to the
Mm-hmm.
choppy day. People, again, kind of like that. And again, the master dashboard is pretty straightforward, but it's super efficient because every time you come back, your information that you need is just sitting right here at the top, ready to
Wow.
go, ready to see what's working. So the next thing that I'll kind of jump into is kind of the agency side or the team side. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to jump into the account portal real quick, where this is one of the things that people don't realize a lot of is that you can, and I don't know if I think we mentioned this, but you can connect if you have multiple 3, 5, 10, 15 different Search Console accounts, you can connect them all under one subscription. And so it allows you to just connect them all. And then in the master dashboard, you can then sort them, or you can tag them according to how you want. The other thing is that under the one subscription, you're able to invite unlimited team members to your account. So whether you're an in-house team that has multiple people or you're an agency that you want to share, with the sharing, you can say, hey, I want George to have the access to these 3 sites, and I want Frank to have access to these 3 sites. And if you
That's
have
smart.
freelancer,
Yep.
you can give them certain, whether you want to give them writing and reading permission or just be
Mm-hmm.
able to view it. And then this is where you can add the extended storage for your sites to the upgrades. So that's just a quick kind of highlight on that account page. But once you get to back to the master dashboard, I can click into the sites where this is what we call our individual dashboards. This is where a lot of the magic happens for content optimization and kind of deep dive. Right off the bat, you would want to jump into your settings and kind of
Mm-hmm.
set these, because this is what kind of gives you the individual dashboard more use. So the branded keywords is basically a contain statement. So for SEO gets, I'm putting all the variations of like space, no space, gets, but like this term right here, SEO gets, and this term SEO get is actually redundant because this is inside this contains. So, and we can actually probably get rid of this one. And same thing with this. We would only need 2 of those because they're not equal statements. It's going to be a contains statement. So
Got
you're
it.
basically trying to get all the variations of your branded keyword in here, and then it will grab anything that goes around it. So so if I put Nike in here, it would also include Nike shoes or Nike
Mm-hmm.
sneakers
Mm-hmm.
or Nike whatever in that branded
Any
search.
any permutations of that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Correct. Yep. And then the topic clusters is again just basically tracked keywords or queries in the contains statement. So we'll kind of show you when we filter by that, but like if it's content group, it's any query that contains content group in the query, whether it's the exact query or if it's content group, how to use a content group would fall under that topic cluster. So this is basically finding clusters, topics on the query level. And then content groups is kind of where people love this app
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
you're able to basically do an easy regex without needing to know regex and being able to group content together so that it's easy to track how your blog is doing, how your feature pages are doing, how your tools are doing, your free tools, glossaries, whatever you have. It allows you to track those.
And even
The
to the
shared
degree of not only in directory pathways, but if you wanted to actually have a custom content group where you have specific pages that you're optimizing and you want to be able to see those in particular, just put those paths in a separate content group. You'll be able to filter just from, so if you've got, a 300-page website and you are not just in a directory, but in strategic work on different pages, pillar pages and the like, you can very well group those together and see that performance specifically, right?
Exactly. Yep. We have a batch filtering that allows you to just put a list of URLs in there.
There
So
you
if you
go.
just want a specific 10, 15 URLs that you want to track, you can do that as well. There is a API limit on the amount of characters. And so there's a couple little tricks that we recommend if you have a huge list. We've only had that probably happen once or twice, but that's again a limitation with the API.
That is too
Um,
cool.
yeah. So then this is something we built that I'll be completely honest. I know some people use it, but this basically allows you to share a public link of that site with anyone. So say you have a freelancer or consultant wanting to look at a site, or you want to send it to a
Client or
client,
what have you. Yeah,
you
exactly.
can do that right over. The one thing that has been brought up, and I think I would kind of agree with this, is that sometimes sharing the raw GSC data with a client, if they don't know how to interpret it properly, can get you into trouble. And they're like, wait, what's this? Or like, what's this? Like when they start digging, they'll start asking questions. You're like, no. Like I got myself into trouble there. But again, if your client is knowledgeable and you set them up for expectations, it's easy just to share that link with them right there. So if you get all these settings set up, you can jump right here into the dashboard, and we'll start here at the top. This little thing here is cool. Again, it's not going to be a perfect number, but you're going to have the similar percentage. So one of the things is that anonymized queries is one of the things well known, well, not well known, but some of the things that we need to talk about when it comes to filtering by the query level and you're looking at the query level. So
Mm-hmm.
if I have exactly, um, let's see here, I'm going to do this. So I have approximately 2,500 clicks with branded queries
Mm-hmm.
and around 1,100 clicks on the non-branded level. That actually seems to be pretty accurate, which is
Mm-hmm.
funny. I say that because that's not normally the case. And I could probably look up another site. But whenever you're filtering by branded queries, the non-branded plus branded should equal your total clicks. And that's not always the case because the more you filter and the smaller the site, it will anonymize those queries as the more you filter down. So that's just one of the things to keep into consideration. But again,
But that's
most
also
of our
native. That's native to GSC as well. We've seen that on occasion just
correct.
by trying to do those type of contain statements and those filterings. So you're representing some of the limitations from GSC, right?
Correct. Yeah. And
Got it.
that is going to be anyone using GSC data.
Right.
But we kind of wrote that case study with the discovery that if you look at the page level, you are actually able to normally locate and attribute 100% of the clicks to the page level instead of the query level. So
Got it.
again, if I have 3,600 clicks and I look here at the queries and I can expand this whole sheet here to see all my queries, I can see 1,700 clicks. Like I may have 23, 24, 25, maybe 2,600 clicks being shown out of the
Mm-hmm.
3,600. So we're only looking at 60, 70% of the data on the
Got
query
it.
level. But if I come over here, I'm looking at
Down on the
I'm going to
page,
be pretty
right?
close to the 3,600 clicks at the page level. So again, here's the topic clusters. One of the cool things with this is that you can say, I want to do the last 3 months compared to the previous 3 months. And I want to know, I had someone ask, well, I see there's growth, but where is the growth coming from? That's where we
This is
can come
great. This
into
is one of
here.
the best features of this, to be honest with you. Keep on going.
Yeah, so you can go into the queries in the page sections, and there's these little tabs here that allow you to, it's popular, which is all of it. And then you have
Mm-hmm.
growing, which is only going to show you which queries have been growing over that time period compared to the
Yep.
previous and which have been declining. Same thing with the page level is what pages have been growing and what pages have been declining.
Now,
Now, one of the cool
along with
things,
this, we've never had this type of comparative tool inside of GSC, and in fact, there's a number of Chrome extensions that overlay on GSC to be able to give this type
yep,
of performance metric, and you're doing that in the software itself, so we can actually granularize this and not have to have any other thing riding on top of us to be able to interpret that data. So again, we understand the wrapper, but you're also doing a massive amount of calculations against this data, right?
yes. Yeah, and we've also seen a lot of issues with even Google Search Console's comparative data being inaccurate at
Mm-hmm.
times. And just the calculations just aren't math. Like that's the simple way to put it. It doesn't do math. Like I've had multiple people come and say like it will tell me that I'm like a 3,000% growth when it hasn't been. Like it has some kind of weird bug, and that's happened multiple occasions. So the nice thing is that we have these little tool tips. So say I want to quickly filter by a page to see how it's performing, I can just click right on it and
Yep.
it filters by that page. And now I can see all the queries that are performing for this page and what content groups it's in. So the same thing is I want to see, oh, what is that actual page? There's this little tooltip right here. That's a little arrow. It allows you to
Take you right
open
over
the
there.
page. Okay, that's the page. Good to know.
Right.
Same thing with the content group. Say I want to see how my blog pages are performing, what pages in my blogs. So I can filter by that blog by just clicking on that little tab. And now here are all my blog pages that are performing and not performing, able to click out. So all of that is able to be combined with our little filtering up here. So we have basically, we allow for multi-conditional query filtering and multi-conditional page filtering without needing regex. We allow for you to have regex. So we have
Mm-hmm.
matches regex right here. But again, people don't like regex. So if I'm coming here and I want to see, okay, content groups, content group, but I don't want it to contain B content group. Boom. So there's
Wow,
10
that's too
queries
cool.
and I hit apply and boom, there is that filter with that conditional statement. And you can add as many conditions. Now, again, the more you filter, the more it will probably anonymize queries. And
Mm-hmm.
so the less percentage of data you'll get. But what I found is, again, looking at the page level is the important key. So you can do the same thing with the pages. I want it to contain blog, but I don't want this page doesn't equal this page. I want to filter that
Yep.
page out and boom, here's that. So that's
And it's
ways to
so
kind of,
quick. I mean, again, for our listeners who can't see the rendering here, it's almost instantaneous what the software is doing. You're not having to wait and grind through data. It's popping and populating immediately. So you can hear Matt clicking around here because it is so bloody quick.
For our
yeah,
listeners who can't see it, why haven't you stopped and gone to the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I mean,
Just go now.
please.
No,
This is
so
the one time, like, stop.
you're stopping the podcast to tell them to go to the YouTube
I
channel.
would rarely tell you to stop listening to the podcast, but go to the YouTube channel and look at this.
Yeah. It's amazing how quick this is. And on top of that, it's also very intuitive. And it gives you the ability to be able to grab a hold of all of your different campaign data from an SEO standpoint, be able to populate it, get it into top clusters of topics, keywords, as well as page groups, right? Which is incredibly valuable as you're demonstrating to the clients, see how our performance is going on with whatever the budget aperture is for content revision, what have you. We could scale this because you can actually demonstrate that performance right there with live data. Sorry, just have a side note there. So keep on going, Matt.
Yeah, no, I love it. And again, you can tell that they use it because they're familiar with the power of it. So again, I'm looking at this chart. I'm like, man, I see this huge spike right here. But again, I have this annotation, this note, right, built in, published best
Right.
SEO tools blog. Oh, well, that's probably it. So let me go and quick go into here, and I can do this best filtered by page, click it, and oh, yeah, there's a huge spike in impressions and not a lot of clicks. So, but that's probably where my spike in impressions came from, and there's not an increase in clicks. So now I know the story of that article got a lot of impressions, no clicks. Do I need to improve it? Do I need to, like, is it going to be useful? Because again, impressions at the end of the day, they look
Right.
nice in a purple line, but they do literally nothing if I'm not going to eventually get clicks.
So if you filter against
So
that page, you can also see what queries are coming in, and potentially if certain queries are unwanted, right, you can also come back and revise the content to be able to push against maybe a series of keywords that you've used or some of the entities referenced in the page to be able to jettison some of the unwanted impressions, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Excellent.
And we have the Google algorithm updates on the graph as well. And then the notes and annotations able to be toggled on and off pretty easily and quickly, just like that. So you're able to add them by just clicking on the date that you want to add. The other thing that's kind of hidden a little bit is that we have this people also ask and long tail keywords filter presets. And so the people also ask, if I come in here and I filter by that, I'll sort by most impressions down here. And these are all terms. People also ask queries that you're ranking for that you probably should work on improving. So what is crawling in SEO? If I filter by this, I can now see that, okay, my glossary crawling page is getting what is crawling in SEO. I'm going to pop this open and I'm going to see what is crawling. Okay, so that question is not asked on this page.
Awesome.
So do you know an easy win for me is literally take that exact question, what is crawling in SEO, and go add it to this page and answer it very concisely. And those are ways that you can get featured snippets. Those are ways that you can improve this. Because obviously Google is saying that you have a page that's relative to it. And if I open it up and search, here's your little AI. That's where I want to be in this little, what is crawling, what is crawling, what is crawling. And so the issue though is that all of these pages is the intent of these articles is the what, why, how, and optimize. What is it? How it works? What is crawling? My page here does not match that intent. This is just a definition of what crawling is.
Right.
So what I would actually probably need to go do is either improve this page to go match that intent or go and create an actual page that is matching this intent and then interlink these two together to rank for that.
So
Because
it's a discovery process. You may very well, forgive me, Matt, you may not want to revise that particular page, but if you're landing some PAAs or long tails, that gives you great ideas to be able to expand your content and be able to have, cross-link relationships or what have you, but all of a sudden now you're crowdsourcing PAA opportunities with your own data. Keep on going.
Yeah. With first-party data instead of third-party suggestions or guesses.
Exactly. Yep.
you know that exact query is getting the most impressions for you. So it's obviously an opportunity for you to optimize your content. So
Love the
all
use
that
of
being
real
said,
world data here. I mean, this is live data that we're talking about. So appreciate the use of this to be able to fully demonstrate what we're talking about. Keep on going.
yeah, and I'm going to be taking notes after this and then going to make the implementations on, because this is for SEO Gets. This is my job. So I'm doing my job on the call. It's a tier
That's
one.
awesome.
I try and do that. I'll try and
Well,
find opportunities.
Matt, you're gonna have, don't take notes. You're just gonna have to go to the YouTube channel to
Yep.
be able to watch
Wow.
the YouTube. SEOs and marketers, you're going to like this one. I want to tell you about Wix Studio, the platform that gives agencies total creative freedom to deliver complex client sites while still smashing deadlines. Let's start off with SEO. It's at the core of Wix Studio, baked into every edit, update, and action you take. Best-in-class defaults, automations, and bulk actions free up time, and you can customize at scale for more control. You can say goodbye to endless plugins and hello to native integration with Google, Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, TikTok, and many more. And on the creation side, you can efficiently bring your most ambitious projects to life thanks to smart design features, flexible dev tools, integrated business solutions, and seamless workflows. Even after clients take over, built-ins like automatic redirects help sites stay optimized for long-term growth. Speaking of growth, you can track every campaign against client KPIs and automate monthly emails to share learnings with clients. All this backed by fast, resilient infrastructure that's built to scale. Get started with Wix Studio today at edgeofthewebradio.com/Wix Studio. All right, so last section here is really looking at the reporting area here. Not the last section, you got a couple other things. But let's unpack the reporting, because this was actually astounding, because you rang my bell whenever literally the heat map just came out last week. And as soon as I saw that, I screamed to the rafters here in the agency, you got to see this thing. This is fantastic. So just want to tee it up to you. Go for it.
Yeah, so up in that top section in each individual site, there's a little reports tab. And right now we have 4 different reports. We have a heat map overview, which is kind of like a content decay map. We have a keyword cannibalization, a click-through rate benchmark, and a striking distance report. So quickly jumping into them, the heat map is kind of what he described it. You can come in here and you can see what pages over a bigger period of time have been performing well and which ones have been kind of falling off. So again, the goal of this is to identify. SEO Gets is a newer site with not a lot of content. And so this site isn't going to be the best example. You really want a site that has content, but you can find and locate that, hey, this site started to get traffic and then it kind of fell off. And so my question is, why did it fall off? Do I need to improve the content? Is the content old that needs to be improved or updated? Those are the things that you're looking for. Sometimes what you'll also see is that, like for this indexing script here, you can see that we started to get momentum and then it kind of trickled down, but then it kind of disappeared here and now it's gone. But then I can see right underneath it that there is also the /. And so what had happened is we had changed the site structure and we moved to this /. So we can see that it picks up, but it still didn't pick up to what it used to be here. So we were getting 122.90 clicks. Now we're getting 72.50. I might want to go back and look at these again, where it's nice and easy. I can just come right here and hover and analyze an SEO Gets. This pops it open. And instead of equals, I'm going to do here, I'm going to do contains, because now what it's done is it's given me both articles, the new one and the old one. I can hit apply and I can see that we definitely had a spike and then we've kind of settled down. And so I want to see if I can go and locate. We saw a core update here. Maybe they were testing and coming down, but I want to go and see what queries we were ranking for. And is there something that I can do to improve those? Which kind of goes back to our next report, which would be the click-through rate benchmark. I'm going to skip keyword cannibalization real quick, because this again is looking at keywords that you're getting a ton of impressions for, but your click-through rate is much higher or much lower than what the industry benchmark average is. So it's looking for outliers. And so basically, branded terms is going to make sense that I'm getting a really high click-through rate because it's a branded term. Let me see if there's another site in here that would better show this tool click-through rate. Yeah, so this is again local SEO Grand Prairie. So we are getting a 0% click-through rate when we're averaging the 8.4 position, which should be around a 3.1% click-through rate. So what I can do now is I can come in here and look at that term and see, do I need to go optimize the title tag for that? Do I need to improve the meta description? What do I need to do to improve the click-through rates that are underperforming as opposed to overperforming?
And be mindful,
That
you
is
can still filter on this report by brand and on brand and page filtering as well, page query, page filtering itself. So
Yep.
all of these can be manipulated to look for exact patterns there. So it's not just one dashboard, it's loaded up with your specific goals there. Keep on going.
Yeah, and kind of going back to the user feedback part is like people were using these reports a lot and they were like, man, I like your dashboard, but I want to be able to export it so I can manipulate it in sheets. And so Guy, within a few days, added the ability to export all of this information to CSV. So the
Sweet.
only one that he's working on to improve that, we don't have that on this heat map right now report, but all the other three have the ability to export the CSV. And again, that's a small UX thing, but for guys that are using this tool often and like, man, I really want to export this so I can do even more with it. That's just listening to good user feedback and improving it. So the
Absolutely.
next thing is the keyword cannibalization report, which people love this. Again, this is showing, I'm going to go back to SEO Gets here in this reports. And so what it's going to do is it's going to show you queries or terms that you're ranking multiple pages for. And what
Mhm.
you're looking to identify is 2 pages that are ranking similarly that are competing with each other. So this is really popular with a lot of local sites that have a bunch of different programmatic pages that kind of can compete with each other. If you have a site that has a lot of blog content from years ago, like like the last 10 years, there's some sites that just have hundreds, if not thousands of pages. This
Mhm.
allows you to come in and say, hey, you actually have 3 pages, 2 pages that are working for how to find seed keywords. Now, the other thing that this does is it's showing you, again, because of the site structure, we're seeing that this was only done because of the site restructure. That is one thing that I think Guy and I will work on to even improve this, is that like this is kind of a false positive because this is just a redirect. And so you can see that it was ranking about the same. But what you can do is you can see that, okay, with the old site, we were ranking 38th on average. Now we're ranking 34th and we've got clicks with. So did that have an effect? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it was just time. You can sort by the number of pages. So like if I come down here and I'm looking at SEO reports branded, I can see that my homepage, my docs page, and my features pages is all ranking for that. But clearly my features pages is what has the highest position. So either I need to consider de-indexing, combining, or improving these articles to make sure that the intent is not overlapping. So that's the keyword cannibalization report, pretty straightforward. And then the striking distance report is kind of what we did earlier, but just optimized. So this is looking for queries that you're ranking in a position that you can strike and rank for quickly and easily, but that you're not currently really getting a lot of clicks for. So
Fantastic
I
tool.
generally like to set this between like, because when you get to positions 3, 4, 5, you really start to lose a lot of clicks. Like especially with all of the mess in the SERPs now, the ads and all the other things. Like I want to be 1 through 3, and so by filtering this through 3 through 20, or you can do 3 through 10, or you can do whatever you think is like, this is my target range. Now I can see, okay, I'm ranking 17th on average with 422 impressions with a really low click-through rate for these 2 terms. I see that, okay, it is my impressions page that is getting these impressions. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to search on Google that term, and I can see, okay, so Google's ranking number 1 for this. What are impressions, position, and clicks? But 2, 3, and 4, and we're number 5 right now for that. But I can see that obviously this page has not been, the title tag has not been optimized well. There's just so much more that we can do. And then I'm going to open this page up and I'm going to look up number 2. And again, here's our definition page, which has 2 little things. But then when I actually come to this, oh, it looks very similar. So what are impressions definition? So
Right,
maybe I
exactly.
improve this title tag, improve a couple things in here, and see if that works in the improvement. So things like that are where you're looking. What is GSC? Again, what pages? Okay, my glossary pages. So my glossary pages seem to be doing a lot of impressions, but we're ranking in kind of the 20th. Whereas if I focus on improving them to really match the intent, again, if I look this up, what is Google Search Console and how is it different than Google Analytics? Like this is a little bit different of intent. Oh, is that there's Ben. Like I could probably add a little bit more context to my page. And I wonder if I would even pop up here. Yeah, it doesn't look like I pop up on the first page. So again, looking through these and you're getting a lot of impressions for it with a low click-through rate, making some small tweaks to those can really help boost them to jump up to the top 3 spots where you're going to start getting clicks. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, that
And
was,
that's what I was excited about. First, seeing the striking distance, but then on top of that, the heat map that was coming through, being able to see content decay and performance. We just demonstrated one internally whenever we saw one of our clients' websites that they shifted from a non-www domain, which was previously a www domain, and on top of that, seeing how much content they lost in the new build out there, and it's like a cliff. Being able to see, okay, because you're also at the domain level for GSC, you can see both of those URLs actually rendering. You can see exactly what just happened in one dashboard. It's very dramatic, and it's actually very, very easy to client face as well, because they can get that. They can see the patterns, and on top of that, you also have that threshold slide bar, so you can see a little bit more color patterning to be able to get a little bit better understanding of the performance of these pages. And you can also filter by impressions and clicks, and no impressions in that, because that's a little bit different type of data there, right?
yep. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. And you can do it by the month. Like you can do the last 52 months or weeks as opposed to like the last 12 months. So you can even look at it at the week level if you want to get more granular.
Very cool. Very cool. Certainly want our listeners to go to the YouTube channel as well, be able to see Matt's demonstration here. What's next? What's on the future horizon for SEO Gets? I mean, seeing that you're doing this and releasing functionality each and every month, what are your plans here for future innovation?
Yeah. I mean, the focus for now is just continue to improve. We have a lot of ground to still catch up on things that we want to add. We still have a long list. We have a public roadmap, which is SEO Gets /roadmap to see some of the things, but there's things like email reports or email alerts. I mean, I can even just pull it up because there's a lot of things on the idea. But so preset libraries, one of the things that people want to be able to do is create their own custom presets for filtering. It's just one click away. Talking about, man, we've knocked off a lot of these already. It's funny. Yeah, we have this list. I need to update the roadmap, which is a good thing. I mean, this month, I think I've sent out 3 emails of like, man, here's more updates. Here's more things. We also,
I'm glad we're having this work session with you, Matt.
yeah,
Happy
shows where
It's awesome.
I gotta keep. Yeah, so there's a lot of things for us to continue to build. A logical next step down the road might be, and there's a big might, but a GA4 wrapper. People have been asking for it.
Right.
I don't think that would be this year, but it's definitely on the idea block. The other things is being able to integrate Bing and some of these other places, other tools into it. And so, yeah, I think like we have so much opportunity. We're going to continue to focus on SEOs that have multiple websites or need the information quickly and easily. And then we're just going to keep building out features for it. Like that's just
fantastic.
kind of the core. And we might get to a place where we slow down development, but I don't see that happening soon just because we're having fun, we're building. And I think that's one of the things is like not getting too wide. I'm not going too crazy with like, yeah, we have to do a billion things, because I will say this, some of our competitors do a lot of things and I don't know what they do well, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying that.
You're right.
There's a beauty to simplicity that it solves. Like you said, it's a hammer. It's not a screwdriver. It's not a saw. It does one thing really well, beautifully, simply, cheaply.
Well,
And that's
I'd actually change the analogy. I'd actually look at this as a surgical tool. This is a laser focused prime weapon for SEOs to be able to see their page performance and be able to navigate around their clients very, very easily with the ability to save all of these different areas of content clustering as well as topics and the like. We just not had that clean series of lines to be able to just look at the performance. But even with your demonstration, it's also not just looking at that, but also gaining the insights and having a roadmap. And it may very well be, if we can workshop right here, being able to have some sort of note taker as you're at these particular areas to be able to file that note, file that note, file that note, and then be able to have that as an aggregated series of, because it's a rabbit hole. You've provided multiple rabbit holes to be able to go down. And while we're navigating all of these, having that sidebar to be able to grab a hold of that, annotate that, and even be able to click back to that particular filtered look at things so you can then have that stack that you can navigate through. I think that would be fantastic for us because as we're navigating rabbit holes, we tend to forget to take notes, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's an interesting, almost like a session recorder that would be able to pull back. Yeah. The other thing that I did forget to mention that has come up a lot is that people have said like, hey, we just don't go back to Search Console anymore except for indexing. And
Yeah,
so that is something that we are looking into, is having indexing reporting built in and creating a system for that, because I think if we do that, we will replace Search Console for most of our users. Like they just don't go into
fantastic.
Search Console anymore. So that is another logical next step for us to kind of work on.
Absolutely. Plus, you got a lot of free tools to wrap up here. You got a lot of free tools on the footer and areas of the website. Web page counter, link extractor, keyword density tracker as well. Our checker, you've got another extensions, do follow links, web page counter for SEO, rich results validator, as well as refined search results toolset, Chrome extension that you can fire off right there. So go check out SEO Gets and be able to see what they're offering for free. The tools free to a particular degree, but for agencies, especially focused on SEO, right? This is an easy decision to make, to be able to grab a hold of this, aggregate everything into place. And literally, as we were talking, I was making my own tags right there and be able to filter down. So this was a work session for me as well.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. Matt, there's a lot here, and we certainly appreciate your time demoing the software. We wish you all the best in the future here, to be able to see what you've done so quickly. It's amazing, and this is what the industry needs, is not only some larger platforms where you can do a lot of things, like you said, but some surgical instruments to be able to zero in and look at specific areas of need. And I think you've been able to create this. So kudos to Guy, kudos to yourself for that. Any wrap up concepts, some words of wisdom whenever we're dealing with Google Search Console, maybe even the volatility of Google Search Console, because we also don't, not only of the ever-changing environment, we also don't see AI overviews. We don't see a lot of the rich functionality on the SERP, doesn't come through GSC. Can you give us some guidance there for the future for our SEO audience?
Yeah, I mean, as an SEO myself, I think one of the things that I'm trying to pivot more towards is looking and understanding things holistically from content silos, or again, oftentimes we look at it logistically of like, here's a keyword that I want to go rank for, so I'm going to write an article, as opposed to looking at more general marketing practices, where here is the top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel that I need to properly solve to sell this person with a site. And then what are all the different queries or intents behind that in the different areas? So I want to create those. I want to create the content that solves those answers quickly and easily, not spammy, not bloated. I want to connect them to create the journey, and then track and analyze and improve. I think it becomes a lot easier when you look at it that, as opposed to like, well, I got 10 clicks on this query, so if I get 5 clicks on this, like looking at it very like exactly, as opposed to looking at the page level, the content. Again, that's why we like the content groups, is looking at it in grouping and making sure that you are just filling in gaps. That's what I would focus on.
Yeah.
Content and building quality content that gets links, build links otherwise, and again, create content that you would enjoy reading and engaging with.
and know how to interpret the data. And I think that's what you've actually been able to build is a data interpretation layer on top of Google Search Console, because we've been mucking about with spreadsheets way too long. This is high time to be able to see something that's an active, very fast response to what we're looking for and the performance that we're looking to get out of our sites. Matt, I want to wrap up. Thank you so much for your time today. Anything else that you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, no, I appreciate being able to come in and do a live work session on our app with you. Again, we have a free trial. We have a full demo that you can go in and try for free. And then we have a free 7-day trial with no credit card needed. Just sign in, play with it. If you like it, subscribe. It's less than $1 a day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard not to get the value out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Highly recommend, and certainly recommend keeping that pricing model low, because that's going to be a great threshold of entry. And on top of that, you're also going to you're offering storage of data over time as well, beyond the 16-month. And that's also a huge win from your side. Highly recommend the tool, folks, and go over there. I'll have the show links to be able to get over there, along with a couple other articles that Matt has written. But get in there, play with it, and it's a fantastic, fun experience. And we never really say that about Google Search Console that often. So you've made Google Search Console fun, man.
I love it.
Excellent. All right. So if you want to track Matt down on Twitter, he's on Twitter X at Matt Melli, Melli. Track him down on LinkedIn as well, Mathew Mellinger, Mellinger. You'll be able to track him down there. And on top of that, you have the YouTube channel. You've got SEO Gets -com. Be able to track them down there. Watch this group, folks, because we're going to be seeing continued evolution over here. And we're going to swing back around to you next year and seeing how everything has gone so far. I'm sure we're going to be an active consumer there the entire time, but we're going to have to get you back around and talk a little bit more about some of the crowd feedback, the consumer feedback, because you're building off of need. In fact, I actually even chatted you something earlier today before we got on the show. All right. That's thank you so much for your time today, Matt. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Aaron.
You're more than welcome. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you check out this video in its entirety, because it's a fantastic insight into a tool set. Thanks to our sponsors as well. Make sure that you visit them. From the links on the show notes, that's how they know that you found them on the edge. They're wanting to make your work week even better. So go check them out. Give them a try. For the sponsors that came along for this interview. Also, we'd love a review. If you go over to ratethispodcast.com/edge today, you can leave us. We'd certainly love a 5-star review. If you've got something less than, maybe if you're looking at 2 or 1 stars, go over to SEO Rank. I'm sure you can leave a review. SEO Rant. I'm sure you can leave a review for Morty's podcast. Be sure to check out the newsletter as well, catching up on all the news of the week that we cover. Go over to edgeofthewebradio.com. You will sign up there. So from all of us over at Edge, thanks for listening. Thanks for diving into this tool series. And we're going to have a number of them over the while here. So check us out. From all of us over at Edge, don't be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.